Hello YouTube, my name is Philip Roan, and that's my head sticking in front of the drawing there. Sorry about that. I'm sketching there with a marker. I'm trying to figure out how to do some voiceovers for some drawings. I want to do some art lessons, and so that's what I'm doing here. Trying to figure out a process for doing this, see if I can do it. Hopefully it turns out. This is going to be a sketch of a horse and a rider. It's going to be a young maiden riding on a horse. So I've messed this one up already. As you can see, I've given up and I'm just drawing a little cigarette on the horse, and he's having a little accident back there because I don't think so. So I gave up on that one and threw it away. Like I said, I'm sketching with a marker. There's no underdrawing. Usually a drawing like this would be done in pencil and then gone over with marker or India ink or something. But I like to start writing pen sometimes, so this is starting writing out in marker. So you can see my process for drawing a horse. I usually start with the head, and then I go to the front part of the, I don't know what that would be like, kind of like the shoulders or the chest muscles and then down to the front legs. And then as you follow it back into space, then comes the saddle, then comes the girl's leg, her arm, drawing her torso and her breast out, just blocking stuff in. You can see that I stopped for a second to go, this is sped up. I think this is like 4 times. So that was actually quite a pause, and I think I was trying to decide whether I was going to accept this drawing or whether I was going to, send it along with the first drawing. But, I make mistakes, and I'm not a pro, so I can put those on YouTube. I'm not a professional artist. I'm just a factory worker. I've kind of given up on my artist career, so I'm not afraid to show you my YouTube, all of YouTube, my mistake drawing there. So that right there, what I'm doing is the hardest thing right there. The back leg of the horse is the hardest part of the horse. Something about the shape of that back leg, it just is always troublesome. And you can see that it's wanting to flatten out and turn sideways on me. And I always have trouble with that. And, it works, but it's not as lifelike as it could be. And now I'm working on the face. I try to get some kind of mood expressed on the face, and I didn't do a great job. It's a little bit bland, it's kind of like, it's okay, but it's not very expressive. It doesn't convey a great mood or, whatever. Which is kind of how I feel about this whole drawing, and that's what I'm thinking right now when I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it and I'm going, the whole thing is okay, but it's not stellar. And that right there is pretty much the whole drawing, to tell you the truth. It's all broken down right there. The horse is pretty much laid out. The rider is more or less, all blocked out. From now, it's just a matter of kind of like coloring it in. It's the hardest part, so to speak, is setting that up, the composition of it. So, I don't know if I'm not sure if I said anything or not about the composition. Does have a little problem. The rider is leaning over a little bit. which I don't like, and the front leg of the girl is right over top of the background leg of the horse, the farthest back leg of the horse, and they are not getting along. There's, and I don't have them finished yet, and I'm already thinking and realizing that there's going to be a conflict there, and I know that they're not going to, it's not going to come out great. But it's just a sketch, and the main point of this was trying to figure out how to do a voiceover for a drawing, and so hopefully this turns out good. I'm just trying to figure out how to make these videos, and hopefully they'll get better. Hopefully my next video will be a lot better. So I'm putting like a shadow, or shaping out the shape of the breasts, which I want them to look right. I want them to look good. I want them to look attractive. But at the same time, that's not the point of the drawing. So I want them to look right, but I don't want them to, kind of like steal the show. So I want them to, the better they look, or the more the correct. If they're incorrect, they'll draw attention. So they got to look right. But I don't also want to overemphasize them, because I want the viewer to focus in on the whole drawing, not just the sexuality of the female. That's not the point of the drawing. So there was a skip, there was a pause. The video was paused, and I did some stuff, and I may have trimmed the video I had a sense that it's getting too long, so I did some trimming here and there, because I don't want it to be too long. So I'm just darkening some lines there, trying to work on composition. There's little things I could point out all over the drawing that aren't perfect. I'm just everything about it is, I'm just rushing. I'm not giving myself time to set and think things all out, very elaborately. I'm just trying to, to hurry the drawing, because I'm recording it, and just trying to push for speed. So I almost liked that hair or mane of the horse. I almost liked it white better than colored in, but it's partly because it could have been done a little better. I'm working on that horse. There's that leg that I'm talking about that conflicts with the rider's leg, and I'm trying to solve that. And I think the more I work it, the less I like it. But like I said, it's a challenge doing this type of drawing and starting right in pen, because there's no escape. When you make a decision, it better be right, because you can't erase it. So that's kind of like one of my that little vine thing there, or tree root. I always put those in when I do outdoor drawings, because I don't know why. I just like the way that they help to emphasize the three-dimensionality of the drawing or whatever. You can see the what am I trying to say? The composition is very much a triangle right there. The foreground of the drawing, compositionally pulls you into the center. The focal point of the drawing is the girl, and those little vines or whatever they are just a few very cheap, ostentatious little ways to draw the eye right up to what I want it to look at, which is the girl. So I'm finishing up the saddle, which didn't turn out too bad. The saddle turned out okay. But again, like I say, you know, it's just a sketch. So there, what I'm doing there is another thing that I like to do all the time is put stuff, you know, I don't know what that is, like leaves or sticks or you know, it's little pieces of debris floating in the air, and it thickens up the atmosphere, makes you realize that that's, you know, that there's air and there's space in between the rider, who is way in the foreground, and you know, the sky and the clouds that are way in the background. You know, it helps to emphasize the three-dimensionality of the drawing, which is probably the most important thing about any drawing, is making it look three-dimensional. You know, like like you're looking not at a flat surface, but at, you know, looking like through a window, you know, into a three-dimensional space. So I put some birds back there for the same reason, to help say something about what's going on, to say that, you know, that there's something happening back there, there's activity, you know, stuff is floating in the air, birds are circling, you know, the clouds are going by. There's some, that's a bottle of ink, just some Sumi ink and a toothbrush, and I put a little Ziploc type sandwich bag on my hand so my hand doesn't get dirty. Now I'm using that toothbrush, I dipped it in the ink obviously, and I'm using it to spatter some ink on the drawing for the same reason that I talked about before, to thicken the atmosphere. Not, you know, you understand what I'm saying, like the air, you know, it's like stuff, dirty stuff floating in the air. So it makes your mind realize it, and that's what it is. It's dirtying up the drawing. It's dirtying it up, like being outside, where you know, maybe the wind's blowing and little pieces of dust and stuff are, you know, kind of floating around and flying around. So that's why I like to do that. So that's pretty much, right there is pretty much the end of the drawing. So, you know, I pushed for speed. It's got a few flaws here and there, a few things that would have come out better. And, you know, if you look at the little mushroom, or actually the big mushroom down in the front left corner, I painted over the stem. I noticed that while I was doing this voiceover, that I did it, you know, I was pushing to go so fast I painted right over that. So that could be fixed on the computer. There's a big spatter of ink right under her left eye that I would scrape off with a razor blade if I had it to do again. There's that mushroom, you see, that could be fixed with a razor blade or on a computer. But it's just a sketch, and I hope that it was, you know, that maybe you learned something, or that you were, you know, challenged to get drawing. So thanks for watching.